Hi everyone. Today I'm showing how to make a side edge card in Cricut Design Space. This is a beginner-friendly video showing step by step an easy way to make a side edge, or as some like to call it, an over the edge card. I'll also show a couple of birthday completed cards using this similar method. And if you are an Access subscriber, I'll link to the card designs in the description below. Now let's get to it. All right, so first thing we're going to do is start with a new project. And I'm going to start with an image. And I'm going to type in praying cherub. I think that's how you spell it. Perfect. Okay, let's just go with this one. This is actually one of my favorite designs. And we're going to add it to our canvas. Now, I'm going to make a 5" by 5" card, but keep in mind, whatever size card you want to make, like as an example, if you want to make a 5x7 card, there's a good chance that the height is going to be 7 inches tall. So you would want to make this image 7 inches tall. Okay, there's many ways to do this type of card. I'm just showing you a real simple method that works for me for a simple over the edge card. Okay, so this is a great beginner's project. I'm going to keep it nice and slow since this was a request for a beginner. And sometimes videos go too fast and it's hard to stay on track. So I'm going to try and keep this slow with minimal talking. Okay, so I want to make this image 4.5 inches. Even though my card's going to be 5 inches, I want my offsets to equal the size of the card by the time that we're done. So to begin with, I'm going to make this image 4.5 inches in height. Okay, you can see right here it's 4.5 image or size, 4.5 inches. I'm going to change the color just because offsets like to make the colors black. And so I want to keep our images straight. So here is our first image, 4.5 inches. I'm going to select it and then select offset. And I'm going to change my offset to 0.125. And then hit apply. It's going to take a moment here. There we go. And see how they change them to black. So that's why I changed the color right away, because otherwise I'd have two black images right here. So I'm going to go to the black layer here and change it to a different color, just so we can keep track of it better. Okay, so now this outside is selected already. I haven't clicked on anything but just changing the color, but you can see it's selected because it's darker gray here. I'm going to go to offset again. I'm going to hit apply again. I don't need to change it because it remembered my 0.125. So I'm going to hit apply, and it made another offset. It's already selected here, black. I'm going to change the color to a different color just so we can keep our layers straight. So there we have 3 different colors of our original offset. So now if I select this, we should be at 5 inches tall. And here we are, 5 inches tall. So that is perfect. So you can see why I made this one 4.5, because with these 2 offsets, we end up with a 5-inch tall image. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move these over here. I'm going to get my shapes and we're going to make the card now. So we're going to make just a regular square shape. I'm going to make this card, we're going to make it 5 by 5. So I'm going to put in 5 inches and we'll change the color to just a light gray for now. Okay. Now, what I want to do is take this blue layer, which is the biggest layer. That's the one that ended up being 5 inches. So if I just select the blue one over here and use my arrow key to move it to the left, and then you can see how the image went behind. So I can Since it's already selected, I can right click it and choose send to front, or I can go up to here and choose arrange and send to front. Okay. Now that they're close together, you don't have to line them up perfectly because we're going to use the align feature to do this part. So just rubber band your mouse around those two and go to align and select align right and then align bottom. That puts our image perfect in alignment to go ahead and now slice this out. And what it's going to do, it's going to slice this and this out. So they're already selected. You can see that both colors are darker in color right here. That means they're both selected. And I'm going to click on slice. So now we have our results here. I'm not worried about these two right now. We have a solid blue and a solid gray because these two items just got sliced from here. So I'm just going to turn this layer off, turn this one off, and that leaves us with this here. Now make sure that you don't move this around, and I'll show you why here in a minute. So now that this has been sliced out, you can easily just click on it and then go to contour. And we're going to get rid of anything that's on this side. We want to keep this part. So I'm going to select this one and select this one and then just click off of it. And now you can see we have our image that's been sliced out, yet we still have part of the image that's hanging over, but you just can't see it. Now we're going to go to, remember that blue one that we had earlier? Just go ahead and click on that eye. And because we didn't move anything, we don't have to worry about lining anything up. So I'm going to select both of these items and then select weld. That gives us our edge. And then now it's up to us. Do we want this to be the front and back have this edge? Or you could have the front have this edge, and then you could just make a plain square that's a little bit smaller for your back edge. So that part's up to you. I want to say the most popular is the one where they're both the same. So that's what I'll do for this card, but just know that if you wanted to make it so just the front overhangs, instead of making a 5 by 5 square, you would make a 5-inch high by 1, 2, 3, maybe 3.5 or 3.75, probably 3.5 square, and then you would put those two together. So I don't want to confuse you too much. We're going to make this one have both the front and the back have the same over the edge or side edge look to it. So what I'm going to do is select this, and then I'm going to hit duplicate. That gives us two images. I'm going to select them again and align top. That way they're perfectly the same height. I'm going to click off, click back on the front one, and I'm going to flip this one horizontal. So now we have a card that's facing this way and a card that's facing the other way. Now, since we know this card is going to be 5 inches by 5 inches, we know that that is the size, so that the biggest size here is 5 and the biggest size this way is 5. So we can use our positioning to quickly get our cards lined up super quick. A lot of people don't use this feature, I think, enough. I think we just forget that it's even there. I love this feature. It comes in handy so many times. But your alternative, if you're not comfortable using your position here, you can try to line up your image like this. The problem is you might end up with one that's right, maybe too short or too long, or you might get a gap, like, right? If I put it like this and select both and weld, you can see I'm going to have that gap in the middle. So let me undo that. So let me show you why I like to use this one. for the positioning. So this one I want clear to the left side. So I'm going to click on it. It's already clicked on. And I'm just going to put 0. And this lines up the image clear to here. Now we can see this line ends at 5 inches. See, 5? So if I select this one, and for the same one, the X position, just put in 5 and then hit enter, it automatically butts them together. The only thing is because I moved the cards, they're not exactly aligned on the top. So I'm just going to select them both and align top. Now they are ready to be welded together because they're perfectly lined up. So I'm going to hit weld. And now we have no gap. So this is perfect. This is what we need. And then you'll see that this part here is going to line up. Now we got to move this. So I'm going to select the card base and send it to the back. I just right clicked on my mouse and then I'm going to select send to back. And remember, if you don't use your right or left click with your mouse, you can always go to arrange. And then I can send to front, or I can arrange, send to back. Okay, and that just moves whichever item that you have selected either to the front or to the back. So now we have these together and we can just butt them up just like that. And we have our perfect card. The one thing that we want to do though is add our score line. So let me move these back over here. Click on shapes, click on score line. We know our card is 5 inches tall, so we're going to make our score line 5 inches tall. And then we can scooch it on over here. We can select the score line and the card and go to align and choose center. And that makes sure that our score line is exactly in the center of the card. And then we can click on attach. So there we have our card, and then it's up to you how you want to personalize this. You can use 2 different colors of cardstock here. I'm just going to go ahead and group them together to make it easy for me moving it around. It can go like this, and then perhaps maybe you can add some typing here. And I don't know if you've gotten the recent update. I'm on 7.3.95. And they typically give this update a little bit at a time. But I love it. It's so amazing. They made their text a lot easier. Their text boxes, you can just immediately start typing. So I'm just going to put, let's see, I'm going to put sending, and I'm going to click on my font, and I'm going to filter it. I'm going to choose a Cricut font, and I want it to be a writing font. So I'm going to choose writing. And that gives me all of the writing type of fonts. So I'm going to go with something, I like to mix no more than 2 fonts at a time. Okay, so we've got our font here. I'm going to make it a little bit closer together. It looks to me like that G. Let me make it bigger. Yeah, that G is a little bit. This is what I do when I see a font doesn't line up exactly how I like it, is I take them and I go to advanced and I ungroup to letters. And now each one of these is a separate layer. So I can take this G and just move it slightly over like that. I can take this I, actually let's grab these 2 and move this over just a little bit. And then I'm going to take this one. Actually, let's do this one and move it slightly over there. Take this one, move it slightly over there. And since we moved those over a little bit, we want to move this one over a little bit. Okay, so now we can select all of them. We can group those back together. Actually, let's just weld it since we're going to, nope, we're going to group. Now we can make it smaller and they'll all line up how we like it. Okay, and then we can go to text again. And we're going to switch our text to something different. And you can see that we still have our filters, I believe. Nope. Okay, so we're going to go to Cricut, and then we're going to choose writing. And that brings us right back to where we were just a moment ago. And this time I want to go with one of these fun texts here. I love this one. Kind of fun and quirky. So we could put sending hugs. And then a quick trick here is you can use your Control C, Control V, or you can go to Edit. You can do copy and then edit, paste. And then that way, all you have to do is double click in here and it keeps your font the same. And you can switch it to and. But I'm actually, let's make this one, I'm changing my mind on you. Change it to prayers. And then click off of it. So I want to make the and out of this font, which was the BFC flannel. So I'm just going to go ahead and click text again. And we're going to switch it to the flannel one. And we're going to change it to and. Except for I had my caps on. There we go. And actually these look like they're lining up really well. So we're going to put that right here. And I'm going to go ahead and select the sending, hold down my shift key and select the rest of the text. And then I'm going to align and choose align left. That way they all line up perfectly on the left. That looks really good like that. I'm going to go ahead and now that it's all selected, I'm going to go ahead and hold down. I am going to use just the black regular pen, so I'm not worried about changing my pen, but if you needed to, you would do that here. So I'm going to hold down my shift key and I'm going to select just the background and click attach. And what that does is it attaches our writing onto our cardstock. Now, don't panic because everything disappeared. It just went behind. So just like we were doing before, you want to select and then right click and choose send to back. And then there's our other images that we had there. So this is ready to go. Now, the only thing you might want to do if you want to add like a sentiment box for the inside of the card so you can write something on the card is you can go ahead and go and click on your shapes. And then we don't want it as big, right? Because we have this in, so our size is going to be a little bit different. But we know it's not that much different from 5 inches. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to unlock it and we're going to make our height. Let's do 4.75. And I'm going to change this to white just to make it easier to see. So we got our height here. And then we want to add maybe 1.5 inches to that. So 3.5, let's do 3.75 and see how that fits in there. That actually fits really good. And then if we want one that's just a little bit smaller than this, rather than worrying about doing the math or any of that, I find it easier to just go and to offset. Only this time we're going to do an inset. So just move it to this side of the dot. And that looks really good to me. Hit apply. And we'll change that white one. Let's pretend like we're going to match it to one of these colors here. Let's say we're going to go with the yellow, and then we can change this color to white. So this is the part that you would hand write your sentiment, or you could do like I did here and have the Cricut either print your sentiment out. If you want to use bigger fonts, you could do a print and cut for this part for the letters, or you can do the pen writing, or you can handwrite whatever sentiment you like. And then by having the two different colors here, it'll help tie in your project here. So I hope this really helps. I love making these kind of cards. I think they really make a nice impact, and it's different than always having like a straight edge rectangular card, I think, which is why this design really has quite a following for popularity. And again, there's so many things you can do with this type of card. So if you want to see more suggestions on other side edge cards, let me know. I have a bunch in my arsenal that I like to design. Some of them involve slicing out flowers from, pretend like this cherub wasn't here, but maybe you slice out flowers here and you have a different colored cardstock on the inside. I mean, there's just so many ways you can go with this. You can even take those very popular layered SVG designs and have it shaped out, and then you have a 3D layer card on top of a regular live edge card like that. So tons of ideas, tons of opportunities to up your game in making your cards. So for the lovely person who suggested this video, I hope this really helps. If anybody has any questions or comments, please leave those down below. Thank you, and remember to create love. Bye.